Board of Education meeting to order. Roll call, please, Zach.
Stacy.
And may also have it right here.
Vinny.
Here.
Knoble.
Here.
Curran.
He shot and killed.
None.
Horrific.
Here.
And
Somebody's watching me.
14.
Oh my gosh, this is terrible. This is on.
Yeah, it's the end of the.
Oh, you did.
Who is that?
Okay,
That Eric?
Oh.
go ahead, Zach. Sorry.
McMaster's is here, and
Still here.
Womsmeyer
Here.
and Forbes here. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by an invocation by Pastor Nathaniel Manjikian from St. Gregory Armenian Church, who is from Syria, ordained in Syria, spent a couple of years in Lebanon, and most recently from Boston, Massachusetts. So welcome to our community. We appreciate that. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before the opening prayer, I would like to take the opportunity to thank you for giving me the chance to be present and do the invocation today at this meeting. Wishing you all the best and success in all your endeavors. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Almighty Lord, we ask you to guide our reflection, action, and endeavors. And we ask you for guidance, your guidance in the deliberation of all the decisions of this body, because a strong, wise, and visionary leadership is essential for the well-being of our schools in Granite City. Give us your wisdom, O Lord, to speak, do, and think all which is good in your sight, especially in all the decisions we are about to make today for the benefit of our school district. Today, with thanksgiving and praise, we ask you, O Lord, to bless the schools and all the employees, the students and families, keeping them away from visible and invisible enemies forever and ever. Amen. Skôrce sevac miłoc, urir araj mnie zdev, jev skôrce smadac miłoc hačorjaj mnie zdev. Amen. Now please, I will ask you to have a moment of silence to respect the memory of the kids and the teacher who were murdered today in Texas Elementary School. May God illuminate their souls and grant the counsel of the Holy Spirit to their families. Thank you.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
A tragic day today, but Pastor, thank you so much.
Yes,
We
thank you.
appreciate it. Next on the agenda today is public comment. Did we have any public comment? Anybody in the audience? Good. And Ms. Cam, with that recognition, looks like quite a few things there to recognize.
Thank you. I have quite a lot to go through. Some things. It's always good when we have more things to recognize, correct? I'm going to start with Principal Jack Schooley. If you'd like to come up, sir. Yes, I know cake.
You could have talked him out of the time.
I just want to make sure 23 years is when I'm pretty sure that he has given the district. How many of those is it?
24.
That's Jack. I don't really need to say anymore, do I, right? No, we're sad to see you go. I know you're going to have a lot to do. We have 2 grandbabies right here already.
Yep.
We do have a really nice plaque for Jack, but the machine went down, so we do have a really nice certificate to sub in for when the actual plaque comes. And we just, like I said, we're really proud to have had you in service, and we wish you the best of luck.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No, try to behave.
Oh.
I know that's hard for him.
My daughter told me when we come here, Dad, you gotta act
See, like,
nice,
she's
so-
over there going, come on. Thank you, Jeff. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
the
you.
future, Jack.
playing your song on the last day of school.
Oh, you remember that, huh? I don't think some of the board members would approve.
I took
Love it.
I took it one of them
Okay,
today.
good.
Oh, good, so we get, okay, I like
It's
that.
it's a song about teaching and school out.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I might know what you're referring
You
to.
can hear it throughout the neighborhood.
Oh, really?
Been doing that since the first year I
Is
got
that
there.
the schools out for summer where
Yep.
they get, oh, we used to do that as well in another school district.
Good, then
Okay, well,
I'm not aware of.
So I need to come listen on Thursday, probably?
Probably here at the board office.
Oh, we
It's
could, yeah,
only a
that's
Wilson.
true. Except for us, it's really not over. Like school's out, but it doesn't matter. But thank you, Jack. Thank you again. We'd like to recognize now, there's a Madison County Career and Technical Education Board. They do a lot for students and school districts in the area, try to sponsor and promote vocational throughout the county. Certain businesses will participate and allow kids to come in and to facilitate tours and things like that. So they pick a business partner of the year. It's based on what they've done to help the CTE program, what they've done to help vocational students. And our very own board president, Mr. Dennis Wilmsmeyer, he doesn't like this either, was there, and the port, America's Central Port, was chosen as the business partner of the year for Madison County. They have done, I have personally been on at least one tour. He has arranged for tours with different businesses that are located in the port that I think most people don't even know are there, and they need people and they need kids, and he facilitated that, had lunch, had them arrange the tours, came on the tours for, I don't know, how many did you do total? There was probably 10 altogether at least, not just for us.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's done at least 10 for a lot of school districts in Madison County. So we're very proud of him. Would you come up and,
Absolutely.
I know he doesn't like to see there, but he's done so much for students and for particularly our students in the CTE vocational.
Just so you all know, I asked for her to take this off the
He
agenda.
did, and I said, nice try, is what I said.
I was gonna ask, did he sign his own certificate?
No, we
No.
had. See, I made sure, right? So,
Well,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Now, what you
Appreciate
do
it.
for the school district and for those kids and to allow them those opportunities that they probably didn't even know existed, so thank you. Absolutely.
Well done.
Yep, there you go.
He tells you.
Dennis, no one's in the back. You're not in this photo in the background.
Okay, this is kind of exciting. So we have Miss Amy Pennell Davis, if you would like to come up. She is the honorary speech, she took this over kind of mid-year as speech and debate team coach. And who is your assistant when you have him come up?
Wesley Copper is a speech coach.
Do you want to come on up too, Mr. Copper?
Sure.
Since I know your mom. And now your dad.
So everybody knows.
That's a good thing, right? So what's really cool this year is you had one student, Anna Forbes. Would you like to come up as well? Nationals and qualifying. You probably know more about this than I do.
So Anna qualified for nationals for us for debate, which allows us to take 3 more students with us to compete at the national level. So we have one of them with us, Caitlin Lineker. Joseph Somerville, Evan Peters, and Annie Hale also qualified as well to be options to go with us. So we're very excited to take our students to Kentucky and
For a week, correct? Or 4 days?
Yeah, a week, 7.
Yeah.
Oh, so because it's 7 days, and it is it's an IHSA sponsored event, but that is a long time. And so we had some community members. Mr. and Mrs. Copper, would you like to come as well from the Elks Club? He has to come too. See if I do this right, they had a benefit barbecue just for the team that will give them extra money to be able to go on this trip, which I think is incredible. Not just because you're related.
But it was the inspiration.
So yeah, and I just think that the fact that they stepped up to do this, to help this team, is just amazing to me, and it shows you what kind of community you live in. So I'll let you present.
Yes, on behalf of the Grand City Elks Lodge, number 1063, we'd like to donate this check for $2,120 proceeds from the barbecue. We also wanted to thank
Wesley and his students for coming and working the barbecue
Oh, wow.
with us. It went really, really well, and you know, anytime they'd like to come back and work a food night, that would be awesome.
Oh, and thank you. Thank you so much. You need pictures here. He has to come
You have to
back.
come back for pictures, too.
So I mean, once again, that will help you immensely. We are sponsoring as a district, but to be able to know that you have extra money to get there. And thank you for what you do every day to help these kids. You guys want to say anything?
Thanks to our coaches, we couldn't do it without them.
That's right, that's right. Well, thank you very much. And we're gonna wait till they come back and have a special recognition in July. So, okay? Okay, thanks, guys.
Can we can get a photo of maybe the Elks and the two students? And
Okay.
Go over there with them. Yeah, look, you're with kids this time. Smile.
can we get two, can you, ladies, do you mind getting in front? Thank you.
There you go. We're gonna see.
Yeah,
one,
with all
one.
black Wesley.
All right, here we go. Thank you.
All right, now we have to go to the next
Once again, thank you.
Tomorrow, if you want steaks.
Tell us when the barbecue is next time so we can.
I will send it out. I'll send a
Yeah.
district-wide email.
Right, thank you, sir.
Steak night tomorrow.
Steak night tomorrow?
Yeah.
I don't do beef, but maybe, do you have other stuff?
I can always do a pork chop.
Oh, there we go. Pork chop, all right. Thank you so much. I just want to
All right,
thank you.
thanks.
And great job. Team, we're looking forward to seeing how you're doing, and thank you for taking that and stepping up into that role. Thank you very much. Okay, next, we're gonna recognize, we have, a group of teachers at the high school that have been part of a dual credit program from St. Louis University. It's one of the earliest schools in Illinois to partner with SLU in this program over 15 years ago. They were also recognized April 27th at SLU in a ceremony there, but we felt like this dedication they've given to our kids for this long is just really important. I really wanted to recognize it as well. So I'm gonna call up, there's some people that aren't here, but the ones that are here, I'm gonna give some facts that SLU sent us. So can I start with, I know Denise is here, so the math department, Miss Denise Albrecht. 15 years, you've been doing dual credit for 15 years. And think about how many kids that she's helped to get more credit in school, so she's just thank you so much. Another one I know is here from the science department is this Amy Heath. These two, I don't know how many things they don't do. I could just keep giving things out and it would be something that they do. So 15 years also, SLU dual credit, thank you very much for what you do for kids. So. Thank you. The other ones that were recognized, I don't think they're here tonight. Foreign language, Erin Miller, so 5 years. Science department, Shannon Muskoff, and social studies department, Vince Willerette, and social studies department, Randy Burgess. Shannon was 5 years, Vince and Randy were 15 years, and Erin was 5. So we couldn't provide these opportunities for our kids without these teachers. So we really, one more hand, I'm just really okay, now, this is kind of important. I'd like Maxwell Forbes to come up here, please. He's bringing his torch. He's not real, don't worry. Sure. Max served as our 21-22 like student board member advisor. I can't tell you, I mean, I've had, Kaylee was amazing. I've been here, this is my second year. Max has just been an incredible asset to the board. Like I said, I have a kind of connection with him. His grandfather was one of my husband's mentor teachers in school, and getting to see Max and getting to know his family and Anna has just been really a delight for me as well. I like to kid that Max might be the next Bill Gates. He just finds a way to, he has just such a wide, open mind to so many different things, and it's really fun to talk to you. I love that you love life and you love opportunity. He went on a field trip today, and I heard he was talking with everybody as well today. So you always hear things about Max, and they're always positive, and we, I know as a board, we're just thrilled to have you this year. So we want to make sure that we recognize you and your achievement and all the work you did for us. We have a little gift for you. You might want to open that. Down in the, oh, look at that. So, okay, right now. I'm going to turn this off. Right it on. That's a little strange. Okay, so this is a special gift for you, Max. So, oh no, we need to. Okay. Take an ink pen and roll across the top. We didn't think about this. Oh no, here this side looks like it might already. No.
Dab it with a pen.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm only doing this because it's pretty cool, so we need to see it. You can do it, I know you can. Look at that. We get to, so we do have a gavel, the board president has a gavel, right? So, as the student board member, he gets his personalized gavel. Written on there, school number 2122. So we thought that'd be great.
Thank you.
I thought you would like that. So you can put this all back.
Here, Max, let's take a photo of Miss Can with your new gavel.
You made kind of a mess down here. So I need to, okay, here we go. So we'll do this with the gavel, and you can act like you're like him. Okay. So now we're also going to, Zach, do you want to maybe talk a little bit about choosing the student advisory member and the process? Erica, you want to talk about it as well?
Yeah, so me, Erica, Mr. Depew, and Stephanie interview. We usually get 3 or 4 candidates every year from Mr. Willeret who are recommended to us and apply. We do a whole interview process and everything, and we always joke that every year, Linda was also on it previously, that it gets harder than the last year to pick one. And each year is just, we have an amazing one, and Max was great to work with, always had input on student issues on the school board, and just like Ms. Can said, it was just invaluable to have him on the board. So I definitely appreciate all your hard work and wish you the best for sure.
And we're going to, we do an interview process for a new student, and you want to talk, it's, she's here tonight.
Yeah, you want to bring her out?
Sure, Miss, here we go, Caitlin Linegar. Did I say it correctly? Max is prepared. She, Caitlin, turn on. You gotta turn on. Like I said, it was very difficult. It was hard choosing. We had a difficult time. You want to give her a few words of advice here? On the spot? You can do it.
But I don't know what to say.
Really? You're speechless? Give her advice.
But just stay true to the community. It's one of the best ones out here. Everyone's willing to help. I can't count how many people were willing to give it their input on what's going on in the district, whether it was, I think I talked with like the department chairs whenever it was the 8th grade stepping into, when they were picking their classes, and then also students are wanting to give their opinion at a time. And everyone from parents to just anyone that I remember whenever we worked on the website page, talking with different principal and whatnot. Everyone is going to be willing to help you out, and you have a really good community behind you. So I'm looking forward to what you do next year.
And you're passing the torch.
Yeah.
We'll get a photo of you passing the torch.
S&T, or do I make the whole science and tech?
That doesn't matter.
Anyway, he'll be attending there in the fall, but we're going to try to get him to come back
All right,
once in a while too. But he also helped with the webpage development and with some other teachers and served on that as well. So like I said, we're excited to see what Ms. Linegar does, and we'll miss Max. So good job.
Max, one more photo with you guys. Just you two out there. Yep. Here, one more photo.
Oh, pictures.
Yep. Thank you.
Good job, guys.
Way to go.
Thanks. Good job.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Those are the best parts.
All of our honorees, those who are recognized tonight, you're absolutely welcome to stay. However,
We know.
it's up to you all. If you want to stay for the rest of the meeting tonight, so I just wanted to throw that out there to you. If you'd like to stay, you're more than welcome.
I gotta burn my baby.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Stewart.
thank you,
I gotta
Mr.
get 3
Scully.
strikes when we go on vacation.
I tried to get him
Thank you,
cake.
Father.
Thank you, Father.
We were disappointed there was no cake, so yeah, I asked, but you didn't.
Pastor, thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, bye. Bye, guys.
I'll never speak to you again.
Bye. Oh, look at him waving. Okay, guys.
Can we have him
I know.
All right, item number 5 is minutes, approval of minutes for the April 26, 2022 Board of Education meeting.
So moved.
People say that over and over again today. But it's time that we start.
Is somebody on mute?
Somebody still needs to mute, somebody needs to mute.
It's time that we get away from this check box training that many districts across this country are doing. But these events are happening at a walking rate, and that the our district released the stat day before yesterday.
All right, there we go.
Second.
You got, who had the first and second?
I gave the first to Vinny and second to McMaster's.
Yep,
But
that's
there's a lot going on.
Eric, that keeps coming up, we have to check for.
Erica, then, okay.
All right, on the minutes, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Very good. On the consent agenda, item number 6, we have treasurer reports, bill list, and some gifts. So thank you, First Mid-American Credit Union, Teacher Appreciation Week, Weber Chevrolet, and for Senior Decision Day donations. Appreciate that. If there are any items there that anyone wants to remove from the consent agenda, otherwise I'll be happy to take a motion to approve all those.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Roll call, please, Zach.
Knoble,
Aye.
Curran,
Aye.
Nunn, I, McMaster's. Stacy,
And then you ride.
Vinny,
Aye.
and Wolfmeyer.
Aye. Item number 8A, rescind retirements. Ms. Lynn?
The administration is recommending the following retirements and resignations be rescinded. Susan Gedeke, Secretary High School, effective 6/30/24. Joellen Wilkinson, Cafeteria, GCHS, rescind 5/30/24. Holly Kutowski, Secretary Admin Offices, rescind 6/30/25.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Very good, the ayes have it. Mr. Schooley, I should ask, is it okay if I do it that way?
Yes.
All right, very good, thank you. Now that we've been doing it that way. Item 8B, retirements and resignations, please.
Administration is recommending the following retirements and resignations be accepted. Nicole Schmidt, SLP Prather, resignation, end of 21-22 school year. Deborah Baugh, Cafe Grigsby, resignation, 5/26/22. Christine Canada, speech and language at Prather, retirement, end of 26-27. Danya Artemisi, speech and language at Lake, resignation effective 21-22. Susan Gedeke, Secretary GCHS, retirement effective 8/31/2022. Rachel Villieu, paraprofessional at Prather, resignation 7/31/22. Kim Bailey, paraprofessional at Prather, resignation 8/14/22. Joellen Wilkinson, cafeteria at GCHS, retirement 5/26/22. And Holly Kutowski, Secretary Administrative Offices, retirement 8/31/22.
So moved.
Second.
Much going out. It's concerning, right?
Yes.
Any discussion? Very good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Item 8C, requests for leaves of absence.
Administration is recommending the following requests for leave of absence be approved. Tanya Thwett, cafeteria Prather, effective 5/16/22 to 5/26/22. Alan Kurgan, special ed teacher GCHS, effective 5/9/22 to 8/1/22. Karen Phillips, music teacher, 5/10/22 to 8/2/22. Cynthia Nault, cafeteria Maryville, effective 3/28/22 to 6/20/22.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Very good. Item 8D, extracurricular resignations for the 22-23 school year.
The administration is recommending the following extracurricular resignation be accepted for the 22-22 school year. Ms. Paige Evanson, GCHS swim coach.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Very good. For items 8E, extracurricular assignments for the elementary for the 22-23 school year, and item 8F, extracurricular assignments for the Coolidge Junior High School 8G, extracurricular assignments for the 22-23 school year, and item 8H, extracurricular volunteers for the 22-23 school year. There are a whole lot of names here, and I would be happy to take a
Move we
motion.
accept them all.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Very good. Item 8I.
The administration respectfully requests board approval for the following applicant to serve at Coolidge Junior High School for the 22-23 school year. April Brumley, Coolidge Junior High, cafeteria A.
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Very good.
Did we do the volunteers? H?
Yes.
That was
That-
included?
That was included in that motion that Bill
Is
made,
that
yes.
okay?
Thank you.
Item 8J is secondary library aid for the 22-23 school year.
The administration respectfully requests board approval for the following applicant to serve as Coolidge Junior High School for the 22-23 school year. Ms. Lorna Evanson, Coolidge Junior High School, library aid.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Very good. Item 8K, certified and classified substitutes.
The administration has recommended the following applicants be board approved as substitutes for the 21-22 school year, although some of them, I think, are going to be teachers as well. Certified, Hannah Bamey, Kayla Briddick, Megan Bussey, Heather Key, Angela Russell, and Ashlyn West. Classified, Jordan Askins, Ashley Romine, and Kara Shipkowski.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Very good. Item 8L, employments for the 22-23 school year. L1 is, we start with rescinding employment of a Granite City High School special education teacher for the 22-23 school year.
That's right. Due to Andrea Keller declining the offer of the 22-23 school education co-taught teacher at Granite City High School, the administration has requested rescinding the recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
Who'd you give that one to, Zach?
Linda.
Linda got the second, okay.
She's closer.
Yeah.
Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Very good. Item L2 is the GIS 5th grade instructional special education teacher.
The administration and interview committee is recommending Marcella Sidabras for the 5th grade instructional special ed teacher position for the 22-23 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Very good. Item L3 is speech and language pathologist.
Due to the resignation of Nicole Schmidt, interviews were held to select a candidate for the open speech and language pathologist position. The admin interview committee is recommending Kaylin Rosenberg for the speech and language pathologist pending the completion of ISBE certification.
So move.
Second.
Very good. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Excellent. Item L4, Granite City High School health teacher.
The administration and interview committee is recommending Beth Darling for this position pending the submission of all required paperwork.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Excellent. Item L5, Granite City High School attendance secretary.
The administration and interview committee is recommending Melissa Isham for this position pending the submission of all required paperwork.
So move. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Good. And item L6, Coolidge Junior High School assistant principal.
Yes, the administration interview committee met and is recommending Miss Megan Wedekind for this position, category 7, step 1.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
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 Here
Those
tonight.
opposed?
Miss McKinn is here. We're gonna welcome her to the district.
Oh.
Yes, for our new assistant
Oh.
principal. Thank you. And we have Jason Baker, who is the new Wilson principal, but wasn't at the last one, so I wanted to make sure he was recognized as well.
Thank you so much. Excellent, you all did very well on getting through all this. Thank you. Old business on item number 9, I don't believe we have anything.
No.
New business, item 10A, multifunctional school activity bus lease.
I'm just gonna read it, is that okay? The law regarding transporting students went into effect July 1st, 2010. The law references transporting students to and from interscholastic or school-sponsored activities. Because of aforementioned law, we have been leasing a multifunction school activity bus, allowing us to transport up to 14 students to events. This is a 4-year lease extension agreement for the bus we are currently leasing. The cost of the 4-year lease will be $8,268 and is calculated at 20,000 miles per year. Approval for the new 4-year lease agreement is respectfully requested. We use this often. I know Darren can speak to that. For smaller groups of students, it's really invaluable
Yeah, it
to have
is,
this.
absolutely.
So
And
moved.
we have the one that we purchased years ago through the environmental grant, which is the propane one, and then we have the lease one that we utilize often.
Oh, yeah.
Do we have a motion?
Whatever happened to that old, was that an old band, that old?
There's a lot of old bands. Just gonna
Well,
throw
they
that
used to
out
be
there.
parked outside the board office.
We did put stickers on them now they're old bands with Jesus.
Yeah.
They're getting there,
See 'em.
but the kids' stuff's more work.
I'll second.
Until they know.
Thank you, Zach. Any other discussion? We'll keep going with this way. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Very good. Item 10B is open bid posting for the building trade house, 4833 Bailey Drive.
Just approvals recommended. Do you want me to read it, or is it the same thing you just said? Seeking approval to the posting Advantage paper in the Belleville News Democrat as an open bid, building trades house at 4833 Bailey Drive, lot 197, will be posted for 3 consecutive weeks in both newspapers. All sealed bids will be due by Friday, June 24th, 22. Approval is recommended. And you do have a copy.
Yeah, the house looks fantastic.
Yeah,
by the way,
it
so,
looks
you know, wonderful job there.
And the open house is on June
24. Yep. 20.
Sunday, June
I'm
5th,
sorry,
from
yeah.
1 to 4.
Oh, did we
Okay.
put like
Sealed
photos
bids
of
we
it
do by
anywhere?
Yeah, can we could put this up on our,
Yeah, I took photos this week.
and we're gonna put them up on the,
Excellent.
I know he went and did, yeah, let's do that.
It looks tremendous.
I know, I'm excited. Good job, guys,
Do
and
you
Mr.
need
Bouchard.
a
good
So
job.
moved.
Yes.
Motion by Bill,
We have a motion.
Second.
second by Zach. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Excellent. I've got some paperwork here, something to do with this. Do we all need to sign that?
For
Nays
sealed
and nays,
bids?
yeah.
Seal bids?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna look at what I.
Doesn't Dennis just?
actually-
No,
We
I
haven't
just have to
almost
list
done
it
that.
right.
She just.
We'll get them afterwards, they're all marked,
That'll be
I
fine.
just
somehow
write
color
the
coded.
yays and nays in, right?
Yeah,
Okay. very
she's
good.
just recording the votes.
I got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Excellent. All right, item 10C is the, I believe
It's
Grigsby
the
boiler
boiler
system
system.
upgrade.
Mhm.
We request board approval to upgrade the boiler system at Grigsby Intermediate School. By upgrading the controls and replacing the boilers, we can now heat the building with 3 97% efficient boilers. Now we're gonna be able to upgrade all HVAC at Grigsby, all the handlers, all the univents, and now we'll have it done. The total cost to replace and remove the old boilers and upgrade the controls, I know this seems high, but that is a ton of work, is $462,781. This is through ESSER grants. So we do have grant money to cover this, and it is for air quality. I think it definitely fits that bill. So approval is recommended.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right, approval is recommended.
So
So good job.
Second, I'm sorry.
I get really excited
Erica
about
moved.
boilers, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Erica moves second.
It's fine.
Any other discussion?
About boilers.
Excited about boilers.
Yeah, well, I mean, I am.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Excellent. Item 10D, district paper supplies bid 12-22.
Sure, the following vendors were sent invitation for paper supplies bid 1222. It includes all paper, white, and color, which we are trying to reduce with the computers. The tabulations have been completed and listed below. The recommended vendor, CPG, is bold with asterisk. CPG, the bid was $109,691.80. We are trying to lower these costs every year, so hopefully we'll eventually see more reductions. Approval is recommended though, at this time.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Very good. Item 10E, accessible preschool and elementary playground equipment, surface, bid number 10-22.
Mickey Watkins has done a great job getting this. This is all through the IDEA grant, correct? Ms. Watkins, right? I'm gonna wanna you give a quick real fast. All this stuff is in your packet, but just give.
Sure, as a quick synopsis, we have some wonderful playgrounds at Prather. We have the early childhood playground and the kindergarten playground. However, for some of our students to access the equipment independently, we needed some that were at a zero entry. Currently, students who utilize wheelchairs, someone else has to take them out of their wheelchair to put them into the equipment so they can play. This way, we have some merry-go-rounds that are a zero entry so that the students can roll right onto the merry-go-round. And there's a bench on there for other peers to sit with them while they play on the merry-go-round. So the bid includes we have two merry-go-rounds, one for Prather kindergarten and one for early childhood. It includes the merry-go-rounds themselves. We have to have a safe landing zone, they call it. So we have to have materials for that, and it includes the installation of the materials and everything, sort of $85,000.
So thank you very much. 5 companies requested details regarding the project, but only 1 bid was received. We are recommending acceptance of that bid due to the time factor. Spaces for the play are $85,000, $298,000, and all funds will be done through the ARP IDEA grant funds.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion?
I'm really excited. I know a lot of thought and effort's gone into this, and I'm sad my son will not be there for it, but I'm really thrilled for Prather.
It's neat.
I know, isn't it a really neat thing?
And I'm always amazed at how much playground equipment costs, so
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
that's,
yeah.
I don't
I
know what this
know.
looks like, but I'll tell you, that seemed like a really good price.
We'll let you come right. No, we're gonna put him on the
There we go.
merry-go-round.
Yeah.
Do we have a sense
Keep
of
your
the
camera at
timeline
home.
for it? Will it be ready for next school year, or?
It will not, unfortunately, due to shipping
Yeah.
issues that we have. We may be able to get the materials in by September. So hopefully if we can get them by September, we can get ground broke and
Great.
We're
installed
pretty
before
excited.
winter hits.
Excellent.
Great job, Ms.
Thank you.
Watkins, thank you.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Wonderful. Item 10F, donation of equipment to St. Elizabeth School.
This is pretty good. The special education department has 2 iPad Chromebook cards that are no longer being used. Permission is requested to donate the 2 cards to St. Elizabeth School. They are listed here with their ID tag numbers. Approval is recommended.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item 10G, actions of the Region 1 Board.
Okay, do you wanna?
There's, basically the, actions of the Region 1 Board were reiterating what we had talked about before with the Region 3 Vision Itinerant, contract that we approved at the Grand City Board meeting. We had the election of the Region 1 officers, which remained the same. And then we, asked for approval for, special education administration to attend the FY23 Directors Conference.
That's great. So approval is recommended.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item 10H, special education coordinator, summer hours.
Permission is requested to allow one of our special administrator, Stephanie Boyer, she's secondary ed coordinator, to work in the summer. She always comes in continually all the time to do things. I asked Ms. Watkins to give me some actual information, which is listed below. We'd like to be able to offer her up to 10 additional days paid instead of coming in all the time. During the summer, the request is being made due to the scope of programs and duties that must be carried out in summer. In particular, this year, we're looking at IEPs and doing a lot of additional work we don't normally do. So approval is recommended.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
So this is not like an every year kind of thing?
No.
Something- okay.
Right now, there's just so much, we're just reevaluating and looking at everything in a lot of the departments right now. So she usually comes in and doesn't get paid, and so to allow her to come in and get paid some extra time She has an admin contract, so it requires that we put it in.
So this isn't, you were just saying, it isn't something that is a reoccurring.
It might be, right now, for this year, this is how we're solving it, we might look into, that's part of the process, look into what exactly everybody's doing with their job descriptions included, so that's where we are right now.
Kind of review that.
Yes, most definitely.
Good.
We do have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item 10I is the 2021 IDOT Safe Routes to School funding.
This is pretty exciting. We worked with the city of Granite City to collaborate on this. Ms. Paula Hubbard works on grants for them as well. So we are requesting to, am I on the routes to school? Yeah. We respect board approval in collaboration with the city council to accept the 21-22 Safe Routes to School funding from IDOT. So she was awarded the grant up to $250,000 to put in the sidewalks from Grigsby along Cargill Road, which is extremely necessary. It's a dangerous place. So we really appreciate all the work Ms. Hubbard put into this, and we work directly with them, and it'll be a match situation. So we're really happy about this.
I remember when they came and talked to us.
Right, they came and talked, so this is wonderful. So 4 years of the award, notification letters will be rescinded as well. So approval is recommended.
So moved. Second.
They'll have some dismissal and things too, because, as cars.
Right.
It's easier to walk, so.
Right, so a lot of them walk down to the cars.
Emergency also.
Is that Race Creek where so they'll come down there and then they walk on that busy road and it's already sold. It's a farm road. So it's definitely, I really appreciate them working with us on this.
Thank you to the city council.
I know, City Council, Paul Hubbard, thank you.
Great job on the city too.
Mhm.
Very good. I think I have a motion and a second?
Yes.
All right, very good. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Excellent. Item 10J is the Granite City High School activity account transfer.
Zach Shuri, I'm gonna ask you to head this one off. Mr.
Yeah,
Shuri?
we're just looking, as we've combined activity accounts, we're just looking to fix a bookkeeping discrepancy from a long time ago that we need in order to move everything over onto our system.
It happened when the schools merged.
Well, who could argue
High
with that?
schools merged.
Right.
So moved.
Yeah.
High schools merged.
1983.
Yeah, Darren, when was
That's
that?
when Talon and I were.
When was it?
1983 was the last graduating class
He
at
feels
Granite
it
City
more.
North. When I left, they had to close.
For the record, I was 5.
He was
Oh, did you see that? Zach goes, I was 5, but we don't like that.
Talon and I were born.
Mr. Depew
This
and
has
I,
come up
so
before in
North
board
went in.
meetings,
He
but-
says they closed it because he left, so.
So moved.
Second.
Motion
Okay.
and a second. Any other discussion?
Thank
All
you,
those in
Mr.
favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Wonderful. Item 10K is breakfast after the bell cost analysis.
I can start with in reviewing possible changes required to implement the breakfast after the bell program. The administrator wanted to provide the board with a cost analysis, and then I will turn it over to Mr. Suri again.
This is just for information only.
Yep.
This is part of the process. Next time we will have the public hearing to opt out.
That's right.
Okay.
Approval is recommended.
Do we need action at this
I
time?
don't think we need action.
No, we don't.
No, sorry.
No. Okay, very good.
For those at home, it's very expensive to have breakfast.
Well, and we already have for
Yeah.
induced for the whole, no one's
No
going
children go
hungry.
hungry.
You're right, exactly. It's not like we're opting out, it interrupts during the day after the bell. This way we have it provided during the
It's a
day.
major financial
Also-
burden on the district.
That's right, yeah.
I think there's a lot more clarity here now. and-
Right.
Because the sound of that.
It sounds like you're taking
Sounds
food
weird.
away from
Yeah.
children, but
Until you
that's not the
read
case.
through the information and you see how
Right.
it really impacts the district negatively if we get it.
Item 10L is designation of depositories. Zach up again.
Also.
This is just approving us to deposit money into those banks for the next year. Housekeeping, every year.
And there's one for Region 1 and one for the district.
That's right.
Is that-
There's one for Region 1 also, Zach?
Yes. It's all in the one agenda item, I believe.
It is.
Mr. Schooley, do we need two separate motions?
Two separate motions.
Okay.
So moved.
So the first one would be for the Granite City School District.
Second,
Got a motion and a second for the first one, which is, yes, Granite City School District.
Who's the motion?
By Bill.
Yeah.
Bill.
Okay, thank you.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Very good, and then I'll need a motion for the second one for the Region 1
So
funds.
moved. Second.
Any discussion there? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Excellent. Item 10M, Ms. Vick.
Zach, you're up again, Mr. Suri.
This is just an annual thing to set the voting members for the Mississippi Property Casualty and Health Insurance Pool and to extend the term by 1 year, so we always have a 3-year term.
Perfect.
So moved.
And Mr. Schooley, do we need a separate motion for each one of these items, or do we need?
We can do a motion for the employee benefits pool and then a motion for the property casualty pool. So two motions would, I think,
Those two.
envelop.
Okay.
So moved.
I'll second that.
So that's the
We have a
first
motion and
one.
a second for the employee benefits pool. Any discussion on that one? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Very good. Now I'll need a motion for the property casualty pool.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion there? Very good. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Item 10N, Learning Without Tiers proposal.
It is requested the Board of Education approve the ESSER 2 expenditures for the Learning Without Tears program. It also deals with the Handwriting Without Tears. All students will have access to this curriculum. It will teach children the research-based development and appropriate methods of letter and number formation. The curriculum will provide support, district improvement plan, address the areas in SMART goal number 1. Kristen Nabachis has done a great job preparing this. Prather School Improvement Plan also addressed the need for handwriting curriculum. So it works directly with Wonders ELA as well, and approval is recommended.
It's a great program.
It's really great.
It's a great program.
I'd like to
Use it at
see
my
it,
school.
I've never seen it.
It's fantastic,
Jason can take all that.
multi-sensory, and
Mr. Baker has used that.
I moved, I don't know if there's a second.
Second.
Thank you, Talon. Had a motion by Erica, seconded by Talon, and everybody's saying it's a great program. I'm not familiar with it, but I'm okay, very good.
Good program.
Really
Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Wonderful. Item 10O, Back to School Community Celebration Proposal.
We are very excited about this. Kristen Nabachis-Caberta is gonna run with this. We are really wanting to do a back to school bash on August 3rd. We've talked to the city, the library, the police department, the fire department, a SWIC. There's so many people who are gonna be a part of this. The park district, Kristen, are you on?
Yes, I'm here.
So that's gonna be on the
first
park.
step was to get approval here. We also have this on the agenda for the park tomorrow night to get their official approval before we go running with it, as you say, because we want to make sure that we do everything correctly. But yeah, lots of really exciting ideas that we've shared, and we're really looking forward to this community event. I think it's a positive for the community, and it's a way to welcome everyone back to
August the
school.
3rd is a Wednesday.
Yes, it'll be on a Wednesday from 3 to 6 p.m.
And there may be a run, walk, our wellness committee may be having a run, walk afterwards, but we're going to be asking to utilize the entire area right here. And Justin Brinkmeyer was wonderful in talking to him too, and the library with the story walk. I mean, there's so many things that it's a granite-centered event with the school district. So there'll be a lot of agencies, people that can help. Each school will have a tent, so registration will be open. I think it'll be a nice night for that.
I like the way the community was invited too, to put a table up, and all like it.
Swing everyone,
Yeah,
they're bringing a food truck, if it all goes through.
Mr. Schooley, any requirement
Yes,
to
for
work with the
insurance.
city on this?
I think at some point, I will approach the city about the insurance arrangements and identification, that sort of thing, yeah.
And just general awareness for crowds and that sort of thing?
Is there something, is the date wrong, is there a problem? Oh,
No.
Oh, okay.
We were saying we were gonna have a tent.
Oh, you are, we'll make 2
And we
tents for
were
you guys.
divvying up who's gonna.
Oh, somebody get a snow cone machine?
Somebody that's not here.
That's right, you don't show up with it, you get a sign, get a new dude. So
We're planning.
We're working, we're pretty excited because the SWIC has offered to bring their food truck, their vocational truck. We're hoping for a fire truck. We've looked into
That's cool.
Louis for the Blues, so hopefully it's gonna be a fun night.
That's great, great.
So we're just kind of bringing that to you.
Did we get a motion in a second on this?
Other than being giddy about the walk-run,
I know.
I would like to move that we approve this.
We're excited.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Very good. Item 10P, gaggle purchase with ESSER 3 funds. Okay, very good.
Okay, so I don't know if Rocco is on board so far, but he is very sad.
There are two of them.
Two of them and Kim as well. They were Rocco is going to be here tonight. We're really sad because he's very entertaining, right? There he is. But so they're going to present virtually, which I know that wasn't the plan. I want to give a little bit of heads up on this. I talked to a social worker today in the high school and asked just about how much of her workload or how much of the kids are coming in that have to do with self-harm, suicide, you know, and it can be as high as 25 to 30% of all the kids that she talks to. These are just things we're hearing. Yes, Mr. Gasparo is going to talk to this and speak to this. To me, it's like another net I can throw out to help kids and find these kids in need right now in this time where so many kids are having so many issues. So I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Gasparo right now and Kim, and we're ready. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect time.
Thanks, Stephanie. Thank you so much. Can you guys hear and see my screen okay?
Do you see him over there?
Yep.
Yes, he's also on Facebook too.
Okay, great.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much. I'm Rocco Gasparo. Stephanie said I am absolutely gutted that I'm not there right now. But as my vice president, Kim, can vouch, I have the worst luck out of anybody that's ever traveled ever. So delays did not allow me to be there though. Kim, I want you to just introduce yourself real quick.
Yeah, my name is Kim Bolzen-Dolchek. I'm the VP of Sales here at Gaggle. I also just want to mention I serve on my local board. I have 20 years on the board, so I thank all of you for the work you're doing, and we're excited to be here tonight.
Thanks, Kim. Yeah, and I'm aiming for under that 10-minute mark that you said, Stephanie, so I'm going to jump right in. Student safety is always top of mind. We're unfortunate with the news that we've heard in Texas today, but Stephanie kind of hit the nail on the head of what's drawn me to Gaggle, and that's the mission of identifying students in crisis. So we're familiar with the dangers of the internet. We always talk about social media and TikTok challenges and things like that. But what we don't sometimes think about is the Google environment provided by the district. So for the sake of this conversation, we're just talking about Google email and Google Drive provided by Granite City to those students, and the students have signed that acceptable use policy to use those accounts to have those tools. So we're not talking about any private social media, any private email accounts, anything like that, just school issued accounts. And again, we saw what happened, but this is the mission of Gaggle that really attracted me. So I thought I'd go the route of my wife, who's a school social worker out here in Cleveland, where I'm based. And I was lucky enough to stumble upon Gaggle. And I had my psychology degree, didn't get to that level that my wife got to, but the reason I was pursuing that is because I was so heavily affected by mental health, especially in my high school years. I had a few experiences with close friends, so it's kind of been a mission of mine personally. When you look at these numbers, it's sadly probably not a surprise. The biggest two to me are at the bottom. Suicide's the number 2 cause of death for 10 to 19-year-olds, and that's only behind accidents. And then there's actually over 3,700 suicide attempts every single day by kids, high school age kids. So that equates to about 1.3 million every single year. The silver lining, the good news, is 80% of them do give warning signs. So that's where Gaggle comes into play, and that's where our mission lies. Our goal is to ensure the safety and well-being of your students by combining technology with real people. And what we mean by that is there is technology, there is a machine learning algorithm that's scanning, the student email, the student drive accounts, looking for any keywords, anything that might be a sense of danger. But after that, if anything is hit by the system, 2 trained humans actually look at that alert before it's sent to the district emergency contacts. And every district sets up differently, so your district would tell us who you want to be the emergency contacts as far as your school personnel. And then our safety team determines how we're going to alert. So most of the alerts are going to be emails. They're going to be proactive information that principals or counselors can use to really help guide their students or provide intervention. But sometimes we do have a life in danger. And as a little statistic from the CDC, you have about 20 minutes from when a student or a youth decides to initiate the act of suicide to when they actually start to initiate it. It's much longer for an adult. So that's why acting quickly is very important to us. So I want to show a few examples. This one is actually from a Google Doc, and this is probably what we see most frequently, journaling or chat rooms in that Google Drive environment. And the student writes, "That's it and I'm done. I've had a great life and I love everyone. I wish it could have been longer, but I just didn't want to make any more people's life miserable. Goodbye forever." And we protect the student name for privacy reasons. A few things I want to point out, and one I already have. This is a doc. This is actually a major concern we're seeing, and it's the journaling and the chatting where they will share the doc back and forth and eventually delete the whole thing. But another thing about this example is there doesn't seem to be any keywords. There's no mention of kill, gun, hate myself. And this is a really great example of the very wide net we cast because we have a very, very large safety team. So we do go through a lot of content. Our safety team themselves actually reviewed 41 million items just last school year and slimmed that down to about a couple 100,000 alerts. So they're looking at a lot of content, and it's because we're pulling in more than just those keywords. And a quick disclaimer for this other example here. It says a student in possession of a Snapchat image of a man in tactical gear with a gun in the text, "Kids from school, this guy's coming tomorrow." So I did already mention this, but I want to stress that we do not monitor social media, private social media accounts, anything like that. But what we do see sometimes is that students are screenshotting things on these apps, on Facebook, on Snapchat. When they screenshot it, they will then sometimes try to email it or share it in Drive with other students in the school. So you may see content like this come through, but it's not because we're monitoring that student's social media. It's strictly because we're looking at the account protected by the AUP. And in this case, we are not going to hesitate. We are going to text or call your designated emergency contacts so you guys can get ahead of this situation. And I'm going to pass it to Kim for a few minutes.
Yeah, and we just have 2 more slides quickly, but I wanted to mention insights from last year. You know, I think obviously many of you have been in the space for a long time, and as the superintendent mentioned, we're just another safety net. When we think about safety, we think about our doors, our hallways, the environments we give students access to, and this was our data through the last school year. We update this every year. You'll notice that suicide, self-harm, violence, have gone up. The scary statistic actually in this school year, which will end June 30th, violence has gone up incredibly high. And I think most of you in the building know referrals and discipline have probably gone up. We're seeing that across the country. Some of the other things just to keep in mind for compliance sake as a school district, nudity and sexual content, if that is on your drive, we pull that off. We're going to quarantine that. That is something you do not want on school-issued software or environments. We're going to pull that off, let you know. Essentially, you can execute on your policies as you would with anything else. But this just gives you an idea and a snapshot of what we're seeing. And sadly, elementary school, we're seeing incredible increases, but part of that is usage. And part of it, as what was described earlier, the incidence of mental health issues are going up. The biggest thing for us is we want to give you leading data as a partner versus lagging data. And I think all of us know a lot of these incidents are incredibly detrimental to our schools and our communities when we lose students in any way, shape, or form, but ultimately we're hoping to help students early and get that information to you. So Rocco, I'll pass it over to you to wrap up and we'll go from there.
Yeah, no, you nailed it. Thanks, Kim, and she kind of said what I want to wrap up with. Just a misconception sometimes is that it's only high schoolers or even only middle schoolers. We are seeing a lot of concerning things at the elementary level, even the nudity and sexual content, surprisingly, but especially as it pertains to the suicide and the violence towards others. So this is a population that I think we've all kind of had in our minds as we had that, weird sort of COVID year. Imagine going into first grade and you've never been to school, and that first year was maybe remote or maybe masked or maybe just not normal, So we're seeing them exhibit some of these behaviors that go. And I'll end with this. This is just a quote from one of our partners at a district in Illinois. I know budgets are always, kind of the thing we have to work through, but this is a technology director in the area that said if he had to pick one service, that if he had to get rid of all the other ones, he would stick with Gaggle. So we're really proud to have happy partners and to be helping kids. And I want to stop there, give you guys time for questions, feedback.
Yeah, I'm sure there's questions.
Thank you. I do have a question. So, I would imagine the business is booming for you all right now and will continue to do so. So do you feel like your organization is equipped to handle that tremendous growth that's going to be happening as you take on more clients to ensure that you're still providing quality service?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and one thing, and it looks like Kim wants to speak, but I would say we've been doing this since actually 1998. Okay. So we have been in business for over 20 years, protecting schools, keeping kids safe. And as we grow, we expand the safety team. And we've also done a lot of work on our UI architecture to make sure that technology-wise, we're advancing in that way too. But Kim, I see your eyes so.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, it's a great question. One thing that actually happened during COVID, because, I think pre-COVID, we were seeing a lot of districts, 312. What we saw during COVID, people added on K to 3 or K through 12, but the big thing was the chats and the hangouts, if you have those turned on. One thing that's nice, because these are our staff, and I'm sure many of you that are parents or even the school, what we saw during COVID is we adjusted our staff's hours because we saw more students working at midnight and 1 a.m. And now we've started to see that normalize now that we're back in school, we're less hybrid, but it's a great question. And that safety team is part of our staff, and we've got flexibility to kind of adjust their schedules based on the volume, but it's a great question.
I have another one, but I don't want to dominate.
No, go ahead.
So this is right in my alley. In my other life, I'm an administrator in elementary school, and we've lived on Google and dealing with social media things in particular with our kids. So I'm very clear on the security and the safety part that you provide, oversight, looking over everything. Do you offer any PD options or even digital citizenship training that integrates with this as well for children?
Yeah, and Rocco, I might take that one. The PD, and I love that question because I always say turning on is the easy part. Part of the PD is really talking through your administrators who might receive these, giving examples and saying, okay, if we receive this, how do we want to have consistency on the policy and procedure to handle that? So that's a big part of our PD. Digital citizenship, particularly for primary and intermediate, we have part of our tool that will actually kind of give warnings if you want to turn that part on with the email system. When we're just reinforcing, I always say we can teach it, but sometimes we don't know what's happening on the back end because you just can't see that. But I would say the digital citizenship component really comes into that piece where we just flag it as a violation if you want that turned on, to give them kind of a light warning to say that's an appropriate language or usage of that tool.
Yeah, because I think it's kind of a wild frontier right now where kids have all this access, but they don't really know how to use it responsibly. So I like that you provide it to them. Thank you.
That's a great question. Thank you.
Yeah, I just had a quick question, and maybe Erica, even Max can jump in on this, because I know you guys said you didn't monitor private social media, but I mean, how common is it for kids to be talking on school district emails, or I never emailed my friends on the school district email or Google Doc.
A lot that's happening now is not so much through email, but through collaborative docs, like docs.
Really?
I'm finding that a lot, especially you're in a class or in a study hall, they're all messaging each other.
Yep. And the chat, don't they have a chat thing that they can use?
Well, there's
right
a chat
now?
feature, even if you turn that off, the doc becomes a chat.
She knows too, right?
Yeah.
This is where students.
And I can't.
Yeah. Have you seen?
Yeah, and I can't tell exactly who's talking, but somebody nailed it. It is mainly that drive environment, those docs.
Yes.
We do still see a lot come through via email, and one thing that's great as far as what we do for email is we actually stand in front of it. So if they send something inappropriate, if they try to send one of those inappropriate images, we actually prevent that from ever making it to the recipient. So that's kind of the big benefit of if something happens in email, but I think the numbers break down to about 60-70% occurs in Drive, whereas the rest of it's coming from email and chats.
And if they would just
and I was just going to mention, was that Max your student board member?
Yes, that is right. Yes.
Perfect. Well, what I was going to mention, and I'm not sure what grade you're in, Max, but
Senior.
What we actually saw pre-COVID was 60 to 70% were documents, and you're spot on. Less students use email. What we saw in states who went mostly remote or hybrid is we started to see students who were using these tools. where we're starting to see more of a 40 to 50%, which actually I agree with you because I have teenagers. We're seeing more and more kids use email than they did pre-COVID, but it's a great thing to call out.
How do
That's a great question.
administrators log into this? Is it tied into the Google sign-in?
So we have an incident response portal where actually every time they get an alert too, there's a clickable link in that alert. It'll take them straight to the portal. They can log notes there if you want. You guys will have the Gaggle administrator who can assign incidents to other administrators if you guys would like. If you want to go in and adjust the emergency contact availability, you can do that there as well. But the incident...
It is single sign-on though, Rocco. I just wanted to clarify.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. Yeah, single sign-on. You can tell I've got the greatest technology background ever.
He's a psychology guy.
Yeah, there's an
right?
incident response portal where they can log and track all of those incidents.
Okay.
And we can change those people like during the summer and after hours, weekends. We talked about that as well, Rocco, correct?
Yeah, that happens in the same portal as well. There's a separate tab for emergency contact adjustment. So if you guys want to do that for the summer, or even if it's a weekend, and you're like, hey, somebody's just not going to be available, you want to take them off, you guys can do that as well.
Tom,
Rocco, this is Tom. I know the contract documents calls for 3 designated emergency contacts, but that's just a minimum number.
Hold on, we're gonna take the speaker to him, hold on. We need more than one speaker.
Hey Rocco, this is Tom, and we had talked about this on the
Sorry,
phone.
you guys speaking?
Can you hear me now?
I think it's muted. It's red.
It's red. Oh, it's red.
Tap that microphone in the middle. Is that?
No,
there we go.
Rocco,
Chris,
can
I
you?
think we lost you.
Oh, it's red.
Thanks, Rick.
Can we just translate for you? I'll yell at me.
Yeah, I'm on the board. Let's try it over here.
No, it's I don't know.
It's blue. I know.
No, I don't know. Hey, Brad. It's going red. I don't know what happened.
Any battery power?
Ready to text Brad.
Unless it's going bad. We can use my computer. That's the only thing I can think of.
Everything is so much more complicated.
I will text you.
It's not just the teacher teaching. It's so much more to say you have to do the job.
It's got plenty of shoes.
I know, Brad.
It's like a teacher needs support.
We lost audio.
Nightmare for teachers. But they're all important for building security down.
No, he's checking. He's supposed to.
Crazy.
We apologize for the technical difficulties.
Can you hear me?
No worries.
Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Turn it off and turn it on.
Hey Rocco, can you hear me?
Is it my computer?
Hey, Tom. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, my question is, or it's more, you and I have talked about the contract. The contract calls for a minimum of 3 of the designated emergency contacts. But they say we have 6 buildings, we can name a designated emergency contact at every building, right?
Oh, yeah, you can have as many as you guys would like.
And as part,
You can have groups if you want, yeah.
and as part of the price that the district pays, there is a professional development webinar that those emergency contacts will attend to learn how to utilize and use the system.
Yes, that is correct. And we actually have 2 different sessions for the professional development. So one will be for those administrators, for kind of Brad, Stephanie, and everybody else, and the other is for those emergency contacts. So you actually get 2 PD sessions.
And then again, I think you hit on this a little bit. Once, say, we've got Darren Depew here, who is our high school principal. Let's assume he is the designated emergency contact. Once he gets an alert, what is his role, then what does he do? If you can just explain that to the board.
Yeah, and I might take this one. So I would say it's like any other referral that comes in across his desk or from a student who walks in. I would say depending on the severity, and I love when I talk to administrators, they say sometimes kids are just being kids. Sometimes there could be discipline action, there might be a mental health referral. Worst case scenario, you want to bring in support from an external, possibly whether it's a well child check or if it's some sort of risk of violence. But I think it just depends on the alert and how you would normally handle that with your regular policies and procedures.
Yeah, the bottom line is you guys provide the notice, but it's incumbent upon the school district to provide those outside notices to, like in our case, the Illinois Department of Child and Family Services.
They will do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I need to, well, there's one time.
Yeah, and then you do offer the additional services if the district would want to pursue that. We could pick that up with the gaggle therapy.
Well, if there's a significant threat, don't they immediately call as a mandated reporter?
Did you hear that, Rocco? Let's assume Stephanie asked, let's assume that there's a serious threat to where
a child's in danger.
Child endangerment, immediate harm. Do you guys notify anybody officially?
As a mandated reporter.
As a mandated reporter.
So those are two different instances. So if we believe a life is in threat, we are going to still try to immediately reach our emergency contacts. If we are unable to, it's very rare, but we will reach out to your local law enforcement if we can't reach them. Now, for the mandated reporting, that is for explicit content that we believe might be a minor underage. So we report on behalf of the district, as you all are mandatory reporters as well. But generally, we're always reaching out to your emergency contacts first. Obviously, if we believe there's a larger threat that we're unable to reach somebody, we are going to take that next step, but that's pretty uncommon.
But they do have that.
How would we be notified? Would that be through a phone call or email?
I think it's a phone call.
Yeah, what is the nature of the notification? Is it through a phone call, an email, both?
Yeah, most of them, every form of notification includes an email, and most of them are going to be that email notification. If there's a life in danger, if we see an active suicide note and that child has indicated that they have an imminent plan to take their life or hurt another student, that's when we will pick up the phone. That's when we will call or text. So it depends how we categorize the content, but only if there's an imminent threat to that student will we pick up the phone and call or text.
Yeah, and Rocco, I think for the group in the rooms, I heard there's a few administrators. Just to give you context, we think about it in two tiers. So the first tier is the one that we want to give you the information. We don't believe there's a life threat or in immediate danger. That's going to be the majority of the notifications. Those are the emails. There are going to be a handful of those phone calls, texts, and emails. Typically, they are during the day. Very rarely, you're going to get those at other times of the day because we're obviously following the workflow of student work. For a district of, we use 10,000 students as our benchmark. The average a year for 10,000 students is about 30 to 35 phone calls. So it just gives you an idea when you take your student population and kind of cut that in half a little bit. That kind of gives you an idea of what the workflow looks like with those two different types of notifications.
Thanks, Coach.
We need to, Chris.
I just had.
Zach has a question.
Yeah, just one more question. I know, obviously with everything that happened today, this is hugely important, but student privacy is also a bit of concern. And this is a little bit of a question for Tom. We're moving more to sometimes kids are learning at home, online, in their own bedroom. Is there any concern that we're monitoring them in their own home?
Contract does provide for compliance with all student privacy laws as well as that.
So if they're at their house typing inside their home, even though they're on our property, we're still monitoring them at all times.
I think whenever they do, we have a policy, and the students are required to, the parents of the students are required to sign off on. There's no expectation of privacy when they're on the school.
Right.
Google Classroom.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had to find that out though too.
Yeah, there's an assumption if you're signed on to your school account.
Yes.
That
There's
you're
no
being
assumption of
monitored.
privacy.
Yeah.
It's a great question though, Max, and I don't, and I totally respect that opinion, but I will say is at Gaggle, we do encourage students to go, there's a variety of ways you can express yourself online. We're not going to be in any of your personal stuff, only that school issued account. So it's not every keystroke or anything like that. We're not tied to that device. But it's a very, very valid concern and question, and I respect that.
I have one more.
One more question, Max, just talk about.
So have you seen, like, through your data, that this technology has been, like, consistent from year to year? Or have you seen that you'll start to pick up a lot of, traction the first year, and then students will just, what I'm trying to say is, like, do students find different ways as time goes on to avoid this? Is it something that works right away and then stays consistent, or drops off?
Yeah, I mean, so I would say two things. In a lot of cases, no. But one thing that I think is amazing about that, because I get that question a lot, and this is part of your contract if you guys want it. I believe it's on there, is our Speak Up tip line. We do have a tip line where kids can reach out and send tips, and the reason that was sort of born was we had students that knew Gaggle was at the district, and they would write in these docs. Actually, some students would put an insane amount of curse words, but at the bottom say, I apologize for the curse words. I know we have some kind of system in place, and I'm worried about my friend. I think they're hurting themselves. So while you may think, students are going to try to avoid this, a lot of students find it easier to ask for help by just typing into a keyboard, as opposed to walking into an adult's, scary office or something like that. So in a lot of cases, we have seen the reverse. Kim?
Yeah, and I was just going to say, we don't see a decline. I mean, we have clients in Colorado and different, states who have been on board for years. I think it's a good question. In all fairness, though, these tools, we're not seeing declines in the notifications, but we're also seeing an incredible increase in the usage of these tools. And people who have been on the board or in schools for a long time know, pre-pandemic, depending how far you rolled out, we had some schools that weren't using these tools as much, but generally we don't see a huge drop off, and we don't see that trend with the districts we work with as an overall statistic.
And without going into a lot of detail, I'm sure you guys have some sort of like research and development or innovation department that's looking for all the tricks and trends that you're seeing with the students' activity.
We are, and I would tell you the one thing we're actually going to roll out, which sadly is becoming more and more relevant. We are beta testing right now a gun detection for images. So right now we look for explicit content, pornographic images, inappropriate content, but right now specifically we are rolling out a gun detection for pictures. So we're constantly looking for, to your point, new words, acronyms. We actually work in some communities with specific gang terms and terminology that we will put in the system if you're looking for specific things. But those are different things we're constantly trying to stay on top of from a development standpoint.
And I just want to piggyback that. Staying current is very important to us. And one thing I know we did over the course of the pandemic was add language like I am hungry or I haven't eaten in a few days. So we could identify those kids that maybe weren't, getting all of their needs met while they were in that home environment for learning. So yeah, absolutely. We do our best to stay on top of trends and everything that's current.
I think they really tried to cover. That's what I liked about them. They really thought of most things. Even Max was kind of happy with it. I think they really try to stay in touch and to find out what kids need and what the problems are. So that's what drew me to them.
I wanted to ask a question about the immediacy of the trained person receiving the call. Has it been explored to use something like we hear when the storm alerts come on our phone, where it simply alerts us loudly that something is wrong and we go to it? It just seems like waiting for a phone call or a text may be a serious or dangerous delay in the whole system. I leave my phone in another room or upstairs or downstairs, and
Well, they,
you know, it's just something I wondered if that had been explored. I'm just comparing it with the weather alert.
He's talking, do we not hear him?
I think you're muted, Rocco.
Somebody touched the button. Somebody turned it on.
Oh, yeah.
Barely
Hold on,
touched
hold on.
the edges.
Hold on. We're getting a new one. I just thought I talked to them.
I didn't get that.
I'm sorry.
Can you try again?
That sounded electronic. I think it was the first one.
I already talked to
I think that was Alexa.
Yeah, it was. I told you.
Yeah, it's on now.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, you're back.
Okay. Awesome, all good?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Trying to remember, I can tell you that in those situations, we're acting as quickly as possible, and we're not going to stop calling until we do get a response from somebody. So we're going to make sure that that incident is resolved no matter what. But this is why the professional development is really important too, because we're going to stress the sort of the urgency to responding to those and why we've categorized it in that way. Kim?
Yeah, I was going to say, I just want to remind everybody, we typically have 3 emergency contacts for the phone calls. So we're calling in a tree. It's not just one person. So I just want to reiterate, if we're not reaching that first person, actually a group text also goes out. And I love that idea just for the reason that phone number is always the same. And as you know, on our phones, we can set a different ringtone. So that's just one idea from a PD side. You could set a different ringtone or text tone for Gaggle's alerts because it does always come in from the same number.
Darren's like, oh, great.
Thank you, that's great.
I have another, this question is pretty specific, but can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Are the terms lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender considered sexual content?
No. So, and I think it's a great question because I think a lot of our work, we actually do a lot of diversity and bias training. If we have a student who has identified that they are suicidal, that content, anything before or after, if there's something in there about why they're feeling that way, it's like anything else in the district. If you had a student or a friend who said, hey, we're suicidal, that would go to the district. It's up to the district on how they want to handle that, but we do not flag those words specifically. It really is around the suicide, depression, anxiety, any content around that though, that content would be part of that to give context. But no, we're not flagging that to give to the district if, a student is talking about sexuality or anything like that.
I guess my concern would just be someone being outed before they wanted to be, if they used a term like this. Even if they were using school district property, using it as a way to journal for themselves, and that ends up getting reported to school administrators.
So that's where the PD for the administrators would be very important.
Yeah.
Tom, that's a good point. Making sure that they know. Okay.
Are they done?
Is that it? Are we good? Any
A lot
more
of good
questions?
information.
We so appreciate, we would have loved for Rocco to be here in person, but the travel situation is not what it used to be.
Yeah, I'm so sorry that I couldn't be there in person. I'm hoping to make it happen one day soon.
That's right.
But again, I am just the worst luck. So.
Well, we're glad. This was really informative.
But I really appreciate you guys having us and inviting me out there. I will make it out there someday.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation, Kim, Rocco. Thank you so much for putting that together and being here tonight.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Bye.
I'm going to read this now. Okay.
Stephanie, are we,
Yeah, we're on XP.
do we have anything more on before we go forward?
Well, I just have to
Go
read
ahead.
for the approval. I can talk about
Okay.
authorization.
Sorry, you go ahead.
No, yes.
I just want to say, I researched this company a lot and found some things like that question was concerning to me.
Yeah.
There's been lawsuits in the past.
Really?
I would propose a motion to table it. But
Oh,
if
okay.
you are all open to going forward with the vote
No, if you
tonight,
found
then that's up
something.
to you guys. But I would make a motion to table this for tonight.
I'd like to hear them in person and have a chance now that we've heard the initial presentation, maybe gather our thoughts.
I know it's hard especially with today happening, but I mean, just
I
the
don't
privacy,
have any problem with
the
it.
privacy aspect of this is just it's still, even though it's school district property, just the way that's getting intertwined with personal lives is just, it's really concerning to me. I think it just deserves a little
I'll
bit more
second the
time.
motion
Okay.
to
Do
table.
we have any more discussion on that?
On this
No.
topic, I don't know exactly, I haven't talked to Caitlin a lot about this topic, but whenever you did your SUCO like interview when running for that, I think you talked a little bit about mental health,
Yes.
and I think a great perspective would be of Caitlin's.
Oh, do you have, I would love that.
For the future.
Well, like, I know in the past for debate that we've used like Google Docs and stuff to communicate with each other while making our cases. And like, even with school activities, especially with debate, we talk about like quote unquote controversial topics that include suicide and mental health and stuff like that. And that would our schoolwork be flagged for something like that? Because we've included like suicide notes as our cards individually. And then I know like in my own class, like we have chatted with each other like through Google Docs, and like sometimes we're talking about things and it's not like my friends are saying that they're suicidal, because if they are, I would obviously tell someone, but they're just like talking about their life, and privacy would be a great concern. Like when I was listening to this, I was definitely thinking about student privacy and people who just feel like they need to vent about something going on in their life, but they aren't planning to take action or something. So that's
think
a
that we
good
have
concern.
to worry too, though, that we don't, the schoolwork part, they mentioned when I asked this actual question, something about, that's why they have humans, what sets them apart to me is that they're humans versus just a computer. So like, say for instance, they were doing something on Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
And they would follow that and see that there was a suicide mentioned in that, but they know that that's what's going on. That's why they have people actually looking on there. But I do think too that, I mean, privacy I did look at some of those lawsuits, and I just think that at some point we have to decide with the school property we do want, I think that privacy is super important, but I also know that if a student's reaching out and that's an issue, that we want to be able to catch it. So I feel like it's a double-edged sword, but I think that I understand where you're coming from. But for schoolwork, that's why I like this company, because they have a human component versus just the computers looking at that.
Well, and I would add, I still maintain my second to your motion to table, because I think the privacy issue needs to be explored further. But as an administrator who uses I don't use Gaggle, but I use something similar, I'm always the human component. I get flags all the time and I look into it.
Right.
But, I think that's something, and you as the school board member for students now, you working with Mr. Depew and everybody to kind of work on kind of setting some norms around this, Mr. Depew learns about all kinds of confidential stuff. Just because something is flagged does not equate to bad. And to make sure that we get that message embedded in the culture as well, and for the student's voice to have, like we entrust him, social workers, basically everybody on that side of the room and this side of the room with sensitive issues. But there's a cultural component to that, to where we make sure we maintain that trust and confidentiality, and to understand just because something is flagged, he's still got to go into the system and look. Like, that's not going to be like, you're in trouble, you came up with suicide on your thing, So there is that human component in addition to other human cyber people, so there is a lot of discretion involved still. I kind of liken it to like writing a note at school and you find the paper on the floor, like passing a note. I don't know. That's probably dating myself. Do you guys even write it?
Yeah, we're just like they're just coming to us with the information. What we do with it then becomes the human component, like she's saying.
But I think it's worthwhile to explore the privacy issues, because in the interest of security and safety, we don't want to alienate and make others feel insecure or safe too. So I think it's a valid point.
What I think that might help is the fact that if the signal goes out to 3 adult people, that they have the ability to decide, is this really something serious? One might say, no, this is not reasonable to get alarmed about. And so that has that component that it goes to 3 people, I like, instead of a single individual.
I think definitely, should we move forward with this or something like this, particularly at the high school and middle school levels, it's going to be rolled out differently than like in an elementary school. In elementary school, like, hey, we're going to do this. Okay, there's not going to be a lot of like, well, what if my sexuality is called into question? Probably not. But in middle school and in high school, the stakes are so much higher because so much of their lives are online, whether it's school issued accounts or not. So I think that's a valid point to raise.
But isn't this part of the training that goes into this,
Both
the
for the
discretion
administrators. They
that
already
is
sort of
needed to
know
be
that.
used? You know, I think this has got to be something that the training has to entail.
But so many of our administrators, they'll know a lot of these students that are being flagged. They will understand maybe what's going on. They're trained already to kind of understand what they should and shouldn't do. I do think it's important though with the part that Zach talked about. They need to be aware of making sure that information isn't getting out. But they pretty much do that when someone comes to them anyway. So I just kind of want to point that out, that there are things that they're doing already that are very similar to this. This is just allowing us one more net to catch kids that maybe wouldn't come to them, is the way I look at this.
So
Yeah.
Caitlin, your first
Good
meeting
job.
with a member, you already have all this work laid out for you.
I
What were you
know.
about to say?
Would students and like their parents be alerted that we'd be using this software, or like, are they just not gonna know? If that makes sense.
Oh no, we would have that out there. We have
Okay.
a release that would go out about that as well, and then it's on live. But we
Would
have a
students
release.
be able to opt out if they don't feel comfortable having the
No,
software?
no, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's like, I mean, the mission behind the company and all the concerns are totally valid. I mean, I think they probably do 95% amazing work, and I'm sure they save lives, and I appreciate that. I just think the reason for my motion to table is, one, because of the events today. I would hate for us to make a decision based off of that, even though that should absolutely factor into our decision, the threat of school shootings. And then the second thing is just, for one meeting, I just think this is a full-scale mandatory surveillance of students that I just think deserves a little bit more thought into it.
Tom, do any red flags just jump out at you about privacy issues and opening ourselves to litigation and something like that?
Not, when we have board policy that has already been, that is in place and has been in place for years, that whenever students are on digital technology, there is no expectation of privacy. That's been the law for a long time.
I don't think I have reservations about the litigation of it. I think from a cultural perspective and, building where we want our kids to feel safe and secure, again, I don't want to create an unsafe feeling environment for some students in the interest of creating one for another. So I believe ultimately we should move forward with this whenever we decide, but I want us to do it in a right way that's inclusive of everyone, and again, leaves everyone feeling safe and not targeted. So I don't agree with
I asked the liability question to Rocco and to Kim is, look, what if, let's assume the board wants to sign on with this and we get an alert and we don't act on it, we're opening ourselves up for a lawsuit there. So, and again, that's when they said, well, no, we make sure that we stay and get a communication from the designated emergency contact and make sure that they respond somewhere, somehow, some way. So, and they do, and the ability to archive the responses and stuff, it's kept for 30 days. And you can request an additional archived element up to 1 year.
I had him review the contract and all the information. I think Jason has a question.
I might have missed this. Is it starting, is it district-wide or is there a certain grade level?
District-wide.
District-wide. And then, does it save the keystrokes, or is there like a time frame where if someone writes, I hate myself, delete? Like,
That was
Does it look at the revisions?
Does it look at
Google
the
saves
revisions?
revisions. That's a good
question.
point.
I'm just curious about
That's
it.
a
I don't
good
think
question.
that would
Yeah,
make
that's,
it.
I don't know the
I thought
answer
he
to
said
that.
it. He said it didn't.
He said
It didn't keep track of keystrokes, is what he.
He did say that.
The system that I use will flag it immediately to me, and then I can go into a Google Doc. Now, as
Right.
the administrator, I own all of the docs that the kids own
Right.
too. And again, I'm an elementary school independent, so we
Mhm.
know a little
Yeah.
more leeway, but I can go back in version histories and see,
Right.
but it doesn't show me keystrokes per se, but I
can ask
know
that.
the doc is problematic.
And is it 365 or is it just student attendance days that they do that?
Student, no.
Should be 365.
I think it's 365 because we talked about summer. Right. Almost not, because we talked about summer and weekends and all that too, so.
Are we done?
Till we have to
We
move
have
to a
a
table.
motion and a second to table this to a further meeting, or?
Well, under Robert's Rules of Order, it would be brought up at the June
June
meeting
meeting.
under old business.
And then if we table,
Okay.
we table it, we keep it.
Yeah. Roll call.
Yes.
Knogle,
Aye.
Curran?
Aye.
None, aye. McMasters?
Aye.
Stacy?
He's
in
good.
San
Francisco.
Aye, okay.
Yep.
Vinny?
He is now, isn't he?
Vinny?
Aye.
And Wilmsmeyer has absent.
Is gone. Okay.
Yes.
So we have tabled this temporarily, and it will be revisited, I am sure. Okay. What we have left is informational, is that right, Stephanie?
We don't have any reports, correct? No Freedom of Information Act, Mr. Mitchell? I know.
There's one.
Okay, do you
Want me to read it?
have that is that under reports?
You want me to read it?
Yeah, I don't have it under
Okay.
my reports.
All right, we received one request under the Freedom of Information Act during the period of April 20th, 2022 through May 17th, 2022. The first request was received on April 20th from Dan O'Brien of North American Central School Bus. He requested the following copies of full and complete proposals submitted by first student, copies of all proposals, scoring and evaluation metrics, copies of all analysis of pricing sent to Transportation Committee school board members, copies of all communication with first student regarding transportation contract over a period of last 6 months, copies of all communication with Transportation Committee school board members regarding award of transportation contract, and copy of fully executed transportation agreement contract between the district and first student. The request was handled by administration.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mitchell.
Okay, there's nothing, no action required on that.
Information.
We have an executive session this evening, is that all?
There's a district activity and
sorry.
memorial funds, just the statements are there, just to review, so you know that as well. I don't have ones in here either. Do I need to ask anything? No, I think they're just to review, informational only, so those are included in your packet. So now we do have an executive session.
We do have
It's
something.
fast,
Do we have an executive session?
real quick.
Yes, under
Yes,
2C,
okay.
under 2C1.
And 2C.
Under, yes, under the executive session open meeting, the appointment of employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees for the public body, student disciplinary actions, the purchase or lease of real property for use by the public body and setting price thereof, collective bargaining matters between public body and employees and their representatives, litigation, when action is against affecting behalf of a particular public body has been filed and is probable or imminent, to discuss school building safety, security, and security procedures, and student safety. Do we have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
We are now in executive session.
7:38.